Good day, this is Si Wing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network, and thank you for you folks out there that have taken out of your day to watch my video presentation. And the topic of today's presentation is get in, get out, and get paid, and how to use flipping opportunities in the best real estate market in the country, Florida. So, as many of you know me over the years, since I created my network, we've been promoting basically our core mission focus was to promote out of state passive investing, turnkey property management investment in the best areas in the country. And for the most part, we have done that over the years, and we're able to help many investors successfully purchase turnkey properties, positive cash flow properties, long-term appreciation, long-term buy and hold, and so they can achieve multiple income stream for their early retirement using real estate investing. So, and we will continue to uh, promote this core mission for years to come. However, from time to time, we have some of our investors who express a desire to do something a little bit different. Of course, there are many different ways of real estate investing. It's just I just couldn't begin to tell you so many different ways people can get rich through real estate. So suffice to say, we have listened to many of you over the years, and something is not easy. Something that we have to think about it for a long time and just connect to our network of people that we have established over the years. And now I'm happy to report. Let's cut to the chase. I'm happy to report that we have a flipping strategy that some of you will really are would be very excited to hear. And so when I say flipping, it's not like what you've been hearing like on those local TV infomercials or even mainstream TVs that talk about flipping. Obviously, it's not as easy as you think. You have to find the right market. You have to find the right team. So most people associate flipping with like you do all the work yourself, right? I mean, you do everything, right? You are your own contractor. You find the deals on your own. You do your own research and find your own team and all that stuff. So while that's true, we do something better than that. What if I can share with you that we have a great reputable person that can help, that can do that all, do everything for you, right? This person will find the right deals using some very successful method we have used over the years. And the bottom line is you can still become a successful flipper, and you don't have to do anything. You just leverage your time and your money and your effort to a third party that can help you do everything. Similarly, that we've been helping you. I mean, work smart, not work hard, and achieve some good profits if it's done right. So it is going to be done right, and I'm here to introduce you to a gentleman that I respect greatly over the years. We have done many deals together, but we lost touch in recent years. But he's back because the timing is right, and so this is I'm very excited to introduce this strategy for you, flipping. And the gentleman I'm referring to is Mr. John Chen from Orlando, Florida. John, like I said, we have done some projects together in recent years, and he's back with us. And he's gonna talk about flipping opportunities. And his background, he's a numbers guy. He has extensive experience in flipping. He have done it. He's been a real estate broker and real estate investor for 20 something years, and he's been living in the Florida market in Orlando specifically for many years. So he knows the area very well, and so we believe Florida is the number one flipping market in the country right at this moment, for the foreseeable time being and in the future. I don't know how long it's going to last, but the window of opportunity may not last that long. But many of you know that we've been is my passion was in the past 24 months at least to has been promoting Florida investment opportunities through Gene Gillum, and Gene will continue to do a great job for our investors to find those turnkey properties to buy and hold, good cash flow, below market value. But many of you have expressed that you want to do some flipping. You want to get in there, get out, and get paid in about 60 to 90 days time frame. So this is an opportunity for you to connect with us, and we work together as a team with John Chen to make that happen for you. So we believe Florida is a great flipping market because just like anyone else, 10 years ago in 2007, 2008, there was a real estate crash in Florida, just like the one in California and a few other places in the so-called trophy market, if you will, similar to Phoenix, Arizona, Las Vegas, Florida, and California. Right, it's the top four in crisis market. So as you know, it's not possible to flip in California because all the good deals are gone and the value has increased so much. In fact, California is a sort of a overheated market, and many of my our members are located in the Silicon Valley, right, in San Jose. So you know what I'm talking about. So the best way to flip is to find some distressed deals, either REOs foreclosures, or find some distressed homeowners that are either under their property is underwater, or they are in such a distressful situation that they're willing to get rid of their property to a wholesaler or to a third party provider such as Mr. John Chen will take on that role. So I don't want to spend too much time, but I have a 14-minute video, as you can see in front of me. John Chen, I'm going to replay this video that he has done. And but anyway, at the end of the day, once you finish hitting this video, it's important for you to, if you're interested, if you're serious, if you qualify financially, please contact me by email, text, or phone call, and then I will have a conversation with you, just to understand your situation. So once we feel that you're the right fit, and I will pass your information to John Chen so he can work with you on a one-on-one basis. Now we are, John's strategy right now is he's not willing to take on too many investors. He wants to take on investors that he can work with, and so he's not doing this in a mass scale, if you will. He can only do this with few investors at a time on a monthly basis. So, and of course, in terms of your ability to do the flipping, we ask that you, and obviously, in addition to be very savvy, hopefully that you are, you be nice that you have a lot of financial resources. I mean, the more the better. If you have $100,000 to $200,000 of cash, or conversely, if you have some additional money in your self-directed IRA, at least 100, 200, $300,000, that would be ideal qualification to fit into this program. So again, it's a 60 to 90-day flip, and we have some properties in Florida that John are able to obtain through his resources, and which is not in a multiple listing service. He has a tremendous ability to network among the people he knows that he has established over many years in the Florida market. So he know what neighborhoods, what organization to obtain the homes that he can flip on behalf of our investors. And so it's a very exciting opportunity here. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn on this video. This 12-minute video is something that he put together recently on a presentation he did in Maui, Hawaii, the island, and that's why he did this conference. So he's going to show several samples of the flipping opportunities that exist out there. And so once you finish hearing this video, then you may contact myself or John Chen, and we will see whether there's a right fit as a candidate to do the flipping. And the homes that he picked are very desirable. He can buy it at a very, very deep discount as a wholesaler, and then he will pass on the savings to you folks, and potentially you can become his junior partner, provide your cash at a return that are very favorable, and the risk is not as is very low actually. So he know what he's doing. He has done tons of deal. He will continue to do more. So very, very exciting. So again, I'm sorry to ramble so long. So without further ado, just listen to this 12-minute video, and then we'll go from there. All right. Thank you so much, and here we go.
Hi, John Chin here. I'm one of the trainers with Fast Home Solutions. I just want to introduce myself because I'll be in Hawaii with you. If you couldn't figure it out, I'm the one depicted on the right side of the screen there. I'm sitting next to my counterpart, Joe Kozlar. One of these days, maybe you'll get to meet him. But I will be in Hawaii with my team, and we will be talking to you about how to exponentially grow your property management portfolios through a real estate investment business. I've been in real estate for over 20 years, and I'm a broker in Florida. I'm also a broker and fellow property manager in North Dakota. And it took me a long time to realize that property management is what drives a real estate investment business. Everything kind of ends with property management when you're serving investors that want cash flow, and then also when you're doing your own personal deals. So what we're going to be talking to you about is how to bolster profits, how to bring in more fees, how to bring in more of those contracts. If you're a real estate broker, how to bring in more listings, future listings, and listing commissions by doing a real estate business yourself. If you're not doing real estate investing, one of the stories that we're going to be highlighting that might be interesting to you is Anthony Salmieri's story. You'll see his story in an insert in your welcome bags at the event, so be on the lookout for that. But Anthony's been in the property management business in Atlanta for about 5 years now and has grown a pretty substantial portfolio. He's involved with Fast Home Solutions. He works with investors on a daily basis. He's buying properties on a weekly basis. Right now, he manages about 744 units. He's got a pretty stout, some pretty stout stats here as far as occupancy goes, average tenancy, and he's done some creative things in the business that have brought a lot of incremental revenues to him that most property management companies are not doing. So one of the things that we're excited to talk about is how you find these leads for your potential real estate deals, and how do you find these distressed seller leads where you're not competing for them in like public channels like the MLS, where you have to make maybe 10 or 15, 20 offers nowadays to get any kind of substantial deal, or have to go to auctions and compete with other people who know that business better than you and they have the relationships built, or if you're online, you're getting outbid maybe by hedge funds or buyers that are more yield driven. But how do you avoid competing for these healthy real estate deals and not do it in public channels where you're dealing directly with distressed sellers, and how to do that on a sustainable basis where you have that continual lead flow? So one of the case studies as far as the business goes is what we just launched in my hometown in Orlando. So we were expanding the marketing system that we have that brings those deals to you, and I'm going to highlight each one of these deals in a few moments here while you're filling out your registration form to come to our event. But the events that we're going to be doing are going to be right down the street from the venue, so it'll be really convenient for you to join us, and we're doing it after hours, so you're not going to miss anything at the conference. So on Wednesday night, we're meeting at 9 o'clock, and on Thursday night, if that's more convenient, we're meeting at 5:30. But you want to register quickly because we only have so much seating. I'm not just saying that. It's actually a small venue, but it'll be nice and intimate. That's how we want to keep it. It's for only serious inquiries, please. So if this really interests you and it's something that you are serious about learning about, then we'd be glad to share it. It doesn't cost you anything to join us. So if you want to join us, go ahead and register below. But you're going to get more of this at the event. I'm just going to highlight for you very quickly some of the content that you'll see and how this business looks from a property management's perspective, or a property manager's perspective rather. Starting September 6th, we launched the marketing in Orlando, and these are some of the deals that resulted in just what we did in the Orlando market. Literally, all of these case studies of these deals you can validate in the public records. But in a summary, we brought on 3 more management contracts, which translates to about $355 in just the monthly management fee, and another $26,000 maybe $27,000 of future listing commissions. Let's say that as a real estate brokerage, we only get half of that because we just get one side of the deal. Then that's about $13,000 of commissions in the future. And forget about what we brought in management fees and what we brought to the brokerage for business. Those $150,000 of profit conservatively in these deals, just from what we did from the day after Labor Day, which is September 6th, through the end of September. And there were actually two other deals that I won't even mention here because one of them was so nice that I'm actually keeping it myself, so I can't include that in here. But of course, that's going to be a byproduct of your real estate investment business and serving investors and flipping houses. You're going to find the cherries that you want to keep yourself. And it also doesn't include one of the deals that were brought to us that was at the tail end of a short sale negotiation that we're going to be profiting from as well. So I'm just talking about the Fast Home Solutions marketing system, what we're getting direct from that system. I'll touch on these in a little bit more detail in a bit while you're doing your registration. So go ahead and start filling out the form below while I expound on each one of these deals. The first one's in a gorgeous golf course community. It's a 24-hour manned gate. This house doesn't sit on the golf course, but it's in that subdivision. Really decked out amenities package, so it's a great rental property as well. But the address is 23522 Campanero Drive in Sorrento, Florida. And the details of this property very quickly was it wasn't a fat enough deal for us to flip. So the after repair value on this house is $225,000. The existing loan that's in place for the owner is $180,000. So by the time we were to buy this property, pay off that loan, and pay closing costs on a resale and do a little bit of rehab, it's not a safe enough deal and not a fat enough deal to flip. But because that loan is in place and because what I negotiated with the seller of the property was to take over that loan, so it's what we call a subject to deal. You're buying the house subject to that loan. And by the way, you don't have to know all this language. This can be a completely foreign language to you, and that's okay. What we do at Fast Home Solutions is we train property managers and investors on how to speak this language. Number one, it's very good for you at a personal level for your own personal wealth, but it also sets you apart from other property managers where you can speak this language to your investors. So keep that in mind. But it's not something that you have to be familiar with right now if this sounds a little bit foreign to you. But we bought this house subject to the existing loan, which meant that we were going to take over that loan. The loan payments are $1,400 a month. We can rent it for $1,600 a month. Basically, that kind of translates to a flat or even cash flow position. But we picked up a $225,000 house for only $10,000 to get the seller to walk away from the house. And we put another $10,000 into the property for just cosmetic paint and carpet because it was only built in 2012. So the equity position we have in this house after the loan and the cash that we put into it is about $20,000. But that wasn't a sweet enough deal for us, but it was very attractive to one of our investors. So the investor just paid us a $5,000 commission, took the deal, and we just walked away with the management contract. And in our management agreement with that owner, we have a 6% commission if we sell the house later on for them. So in this particular case, pretty easy work. We literally did it in a week from the time that we talked to the owner initially to the time that we contracted and actually closed on the property happened in about 7 days. So that was our first deal coming out of the gate in Orlando. The next one had a little bit of a hiccup in it. We're going to have to come back to this one. 2535 Boyd Drive in Lakeland, Florida. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, built in 1963. The subdivision is gorgeous. You wouldn't know it from looking at this house, but it's a very well-kept subdivision. You can tell a lot of owner-occupants take care of their yards. They have a lot of pride in there. They are older properties, but it shows really well. This one was the eyesore in the subdivision, but we picked this one up for $32,000, and the deal didn't close because the day before closing, we find out that there's someone on the chain of title that's not reflected in the public record. So I'm going to come back to that one. We actually remedied it and turned it into a really positive situation. So the third deal that we secured through the marketing system is in Oxford, Florida. If you're not familiar with that area, it's right next to the Villages. The Villages is that retirement community everybody hears about. It's like a cult almost, and it's the most successful master plan community in the United States. But this house is right next door to that community. The address on this one is 10921 County Road 209 in Oxford, Florida. The after repair value on this property is about $265,000. We picked it up for literally just paying off the loan, and the seller said, if you just give me $5,000, we'll walk away. But as the buyer, we paid all the closing costs, no contingencies, and we're literally closing on that one tonight, as a matter of fact. So bought the house for $147,000. The after repair value is $265,000. It does need a good bit of work, $40,000, and that means total out of pocket, let's call it $200,000. That's going to leave us with a profit of about $65,000 on that particular property. Not a bad deal. The next one is pretty juicy too. This was actually a townhome in Castleberry, Florida. It's basically a suburb of Orlando, and this townhome is a pretty simple deal too. It was $115,000 after repair value. We contracted it for $48,000. It needs not too much work, mostly cosmetic. So actually $20,000 is on the high side, but out of pocket cash total is about $68,000. Let's call it $70,000. We'll profit on that one about $45,000. And by the way, this will translate to a management contract because we will sell it to an investor, because this property will rent for almost a 1% rent multiplier, about $1,000 per month. So it's a great entry-level type rental property, low maintenance because the HOA takes care of the outside and so forth. And there's a nominal HOA fee on this, so it doesn't hurt the yields too bad. So this is a great property that, if as a real estate investor you want to build in an exit strategy to sell these kinds of properties that are, quote, turnkey cash flow boxes, because you took care of the acquisition, you took care of the renovations, you can get a tenant in place, and you can literally sell this off to one of your investors in your database if you have the right packaging for it. It's a very compelling offer to someone like that for a pretty decent yield. And by the way, they're already familiar with you as their property manager, so it's nothing for them to walk into that. But you have to be deliberate about packaging those kinds of deals, and it's a nice exit strategy as an investor. Okay, so back to this property in Lakeland, Florida that could not close because we found somebody on the chain the day before closing that we didn't know was there. Turns out to be their sisters, and they don't have a good relationship. So the sister that's in the house is the one we were structuring the deal with for the purchase of $32,000. And the other sister, turns out, just wanted to live in the house. It wasn't good enough for us to take some of the proceeds from the sale and give it to her and just pay her off. She wanted to be in the house and eventually own it. So what we did was we creatively put her into the property through a lease option and essentially built in a possible exit strategy for the investor. And since this wasn't one that we could capitalize on right away, what we did was we just tagged a $15,000 commission on it and sold it to an investor as an incredible deal. So again, this property shows really nicely in this subdivision, but the house itself needs some work, about $20,000 of rehab. The investor gets to buy it for $32,000, put $20,000 into it to get it completely tenant ready and showing like a dream. So total out of pocket cash about $52,000 plus closing costs. And the sister who wants to be in the house, eventually own the house, we put her in. We did a lease and then a contract that closes on the property in a year. And that sister will pay all of her rent in advance. So the seller, or the buyer rather, is getting that money at closing, the $12,000, $1,000 in rent essentially paid up front. So the sister has no rent payments for the upcoming year. And part of the money that she's giving to the buyer of the property is going to be a down payment on the future purchase. And some of that money is going to go towards credit counseling for her to get her mortgage ready. So this is a great example of a win-win-win scenario. Something that we teach in our trainings is that the best real estate investors are listeners and they're problem solvers. And this is a perfect example of how we turned something that was not going to be a deal into a deal where we walked with $15,000 of commission. We also got a management contract from it because we're managing the property, and a future commission. And of course, a super happy investor, because he literally walks into this house with about $40,000, $50,000 of true equity. Even if the seller or the lease option tenant / buyer does not close on the property in a year, he's netting about a 13-14% cap rate or return on his cash on this house. So a really interesting deal. Just one of the ways that we were able to put one together in Orlando. But again, the main point here is that we have a marketing system that has been replicated over and over again and can work for you in your respective market. And then we can train you and equip you with all the tools and the resources you need to, again, do your own real estate deals, but then feed your management business all those management contracts that will be a byproduct of you doing this kind of real estate investing. So I'd love to see you in Hawaii. We have a lot more of these to go over. It'll be a good learning experience for you. Plus, a lot of you may be incorporating some of the systems that we have in place in your respective markets, and we'd love to talk to you more about that. So if you haven't already done it, go ahead and complete the registration below, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Maui.
Okay. Once again, you folks out there, this event is over. It happened a week ago, so do not come to Maui in the next few days or whatever. Expect to see John Chen. Okay, I'm just kidding. You heard me. Anyway, I'm just the reason why I play this video, so you can, from a high level, understand the philosophy and the strategy that John Chen is implementing on behalf of our members. So again, John does not have the capacity to work with too many of you, but he's willing to work with few of you that are truly motivated, that are relatively sophisticated. They preferably, you're a savvy investor, have done some deals in the past, and are you in a great financial position, right? You have a lot of cash, a lot of IRAs available, and willing to take the plunge. And again, this kind of strategy, flipping, is not for everybody. And but for those of you that see the value of doing something like this, and working with my great partner John Chen, who has a great reputation, I trust him immensely, and he has never failed us yet. So anyway, so exciting opportunity, and I know some of you already. I've spoken to some of my VIP buyers. We have some relationship in the past, and so just shoot me an email or text me, and to express an interest in working with John Chen and myself. And then once we have a high level conversation, and I know who you are, I know your goals and objectives and your exit strategy, then I will pass you on to Mr. John Chen, and he will work with you directly to do these flipping deals in Florida. All right. And so you can have a great return on your investment. Get in, get out, and get paid. So isn't that cool? All right. So anyway, you know my contact information. You can email me, text me, or call me, and then after we do some pre-qualification, then I will pass you on to John Chen, and then hopefully you can consummate some great deals and be on your way to achieve financial freedom. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Have a nice day. This is Si Wing Yi from the He Wilson Network, and talk to you later. Goodbye.